Charged in the death of Crystal Rogers will face a judge today. Defense attorneys for Joseph Lawson are trying to get his bond lowered. In a motion filed last month, attorneys called Lawson's $500,000 bond excessive and oppressive. They say because Lawson is a paraplegic and confined to a wheelchair, he cannot harm another person and would make it harder for him to flee. He is expected in court this afternoon at 1:30. We'll be there for that. Lawson, his father, Steve, and Brooks Houck are all charged in this case. Houck's currently in jail on a $10 million bond. Steve Lawson is facing the same charges as his son, tampering with physical evidence and conspiracy to commit murder. Steve Lawson is waiting to see if a judge will lower his bond as well, currently set at $500,000. Senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley were there for that court hearing.
It was our first in-person look at Steve Lawson since he was arrested in connection to Crystal Rogers' death. He sat in the courtroom, quiet, mostly looking down. Sitting in the pews watching, Sherry Ballard, at times emotional, her granddaughter Tori, and Crystal's grandfather Till Ballard. In direct comments to the judge, Lawson's attorney, Ted Lavitt, argued his client has fully cooperated with Kentucky State Police, giving them any testimony they've asked for in an agreement to be immune from prosecution.
They had their way with my client. We stayed until the end every time.
But Special Prosecutor Shane Young telling the judge the $500,000 bond is appropriate given the severity of the charges. Judge Charles Sims will sit on the comments made and decide whether to grant Lavitt's request to reduce Lawson's bond to $20,000.
Probably the next 5 days, okay?
Yes, sir.
Only Lavitt answered questions from reporters after the hearing.
But you had said your client was a person of interest and a target since 2015. Can you reiterate?
Well, that's my understanding, but I can tell you that he has been a target, and because, number one, he was a part-time former employee of the person indicted for murder.
Lavitt revealed Steve Lawson was badly struggling with alcoholism when Crystal went missing. So naturally, Lavitt was asked if that could have clouded Lawson's memory when giving his account of what he witnessed from that time.
I think he's doing the best he can, and when he couldn't remember something, the Commonwealth was all over him attempting to grab it out of his skull.
Lawson escorted out the way he came in, the Ballard family hoping for continued decisive action in this case. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS11 on your side.
Crystal's mother, Sherry Ballard, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Brooks Houck just before the year ended. According to that lawsuit, Ballard was appointed as the administrator of her daughter's estate back in November, just about 2 months after Houck was charged with her murder. The lawsuit states Houck intentionally and wrongly caused Rogers' death. Ballard wants a jury trial, court costs and attorney's fees, pre- and post-judgment interest, punitive damages, and any and all other relief to which the plaintiffs may be deemed entitled by the court. Right now, there's no timeline on when that lawsuit may be tried in court. Community activists are raising awareness after what they describe as a concerning mental health call from Metro Police. It happened earlier this week at the home of a woman who was experiencing a mental health crisis. Because the officers involved are not under investigation, we've chosen to blur their faces. Our Taylor Woods and photojournalist Aspen Hester take us through that video.
And my friend is here. These officers are trying to break into my home, and my friend is here to take my children and me to the hospital.
Facebook Live video shows 3 Metro Police officers at Kabira Yakeni's door this week on Wednesday after she says someone called police to check on her mental health. One officer with a hand on the door, Yakeni refusing to let them in, saying she doesn't feel safe. Nearly 2 minutes later, an officer from behind pushes the door open, throwing Yakeni to the ground.
Well, I saw 2 cars.
A day after the incident, Yakeni and a group of activists are addressing their concerns surrounding the response to mental health calls.
I am grateful to be standing here right now.
Kabira Yakeni says she's been battling depression, and the actions of the officers caused her even more emotional distress that has left trauma for her and her children.
Why are we sending 911 to people's doors who are already mentally distraught?
Yakeni and others hope this brings awareness and a better approach when responding to a mental health crisis.
I immediately thought of the deflection program. What we want to see is compassion.
In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 on your side.
We asked Metro Police for further details about this incident, including the type of call officers were responding to. LMPD told us it is monitoring the situation. If you or anyone you know is ever having a mental health crisis, you can always contact that deflection team at 502-574-7111. We are learning more from Metro Police detectives who say DNA evidence helped them make an arrest in a recent sexual assault. In a social media post Tuesday, Metro Police say they identified and arrested 22-year-old Christopher Thompson after DNA evidence helped connect him to an incident on Yazoo Street in southwest Jefferson County in July. The department says it uses a third-party lab operated by a private company for testing, and that allows them to get results back between 6 and 13 weeks. Sergeant Shane Stewart said if police use Kentucky State labs to analyze this DNA, they might still be waiting for the results instead of having an arrest.
The quickest we might have gotten a rapid kickback in 5 to 6 months, generally looking at 12 to 18 months.
Speaking for myself, that's sometimes the most rewarding part of our job is calling the victim and letting them know that this person's now behind bars and they can sleep well at night.
Detective Eric Goldschmidt said the technology is advanced enough for even a small touch to give them the DNA they need to identify someone. Using that third-party lab costs the city nearly $2 million a year. The Louisville Metro Council has selected its leadership for 2024. Councilmember Marcus Winkler, who represents a large part of the East End, will once again serve as the Metro Council president. He keeps the position he assumed last year, taking over for David James. Democrats re-elected Councilwoman Paula McCraney to serve as chair of the Majority Caucus for 2024. Meanwhile, the Republicans unanimously selected Kevin Kramer as the Minority Caucus chair. Kramer takes over for Anthony Piagentini, who was recently found guilty of ethics violations. A charging committee has recommended he be removed. Those hearings, though, have not been scheduled. One of the original members of Metro Council will not seek re-election this year. Democrat Madonna Flood became a founding member of the Louisville Metro Council when the city and county merged. She was first elected in 2002 and currently serving her 5th term. In a statement, she highlighted some of her proudest accomplishments, including the smoking ban ordinance, fairness ordinance, and code enforcement revisions. Right now, family and friends are gathering for the visitation service for police officer Mark Cordis. He worked in LMPD's 5th Division and died from a medical emergency on December 27th while off duty. His visitation is happening at the Highland Funeral Home on Taylorsville Road now until 8 o'clock. That funeral mass set for tomorrow morning at 10 at St. Gabriel Catholic Church on Bardstown Road.